Many experts say the digital content industry is a combination of three industries, namely information technology, telecommunications, and content production, such as culture, design, and education. The products of the digital content industry are meant to satisfy the audio, visual, and information demands. Major products include games, music, pictures, mobile apps, internet advertisements, and e-commerce. The digital content industry also provides services such as healthcare, online education, socio-economic data, and online public services. The industry is driven by knowledge and yields significant profits. According to the UK-based Technavio market research company, the global digital content market will surpass $500 billion by 2019, with a compounded annual growth rate of more than 13.7%. The Asia-Pacific region is expected to achieve the strongest growth. According to the government's Information Technology and Telecommunication Development Plan, Vietnam aims to rank among the world's top 10 countries in terms of software outsourcing services and digital content development by 2020. Hello and welcome to Sharing Vietnam. The information technology sector has been developing rapidly in Vietnam. As a result, the digital content industry is expected to play an important part in Vietnam's economy. In our program today, we'll explore the development of the digital content industry in Vietnam with Mr. Azar Adnan of CMC Telecom, one of the major telecom companies in Vietnam. So hello Azar, thank you very much for joining us today. Well, first of all, could you give us a brief description of your work at CMC Telecom, which is a Vietnamese IT company?
Basically, now I work for CMC Telecom. It's a part of CMC Corporation. I've just started about 2 months ago. I came here about end of October and I started in November. I already to and fro came to Vietnam when my company in Malaysia, which is Time.com, Berhad, invested into CMC Telecommunication back in May 2015. I already coming here to join my bosses, the board of directors, just to look into, to analyze, to study the market here. So my role here basically is as a Chief Marketing Officer, means to say is to look into the market here in Vietnam, especially on the telecommunication market, and try to replicate the successful model that we had.
The digital content industry is emerging in Vietnam and around the world. So could you give us some information on the participation of CMC Group and particularly CMC Telecom in this industry so far?
In CMC Corp, there are also other subsidiaries. One of the major one is the company that I'm working for now, CMC Telecoms. But this is also another subsidiary, which is CMC Software, which is also looking into develop some of the software in-house. And within the CMC Telecommunication, we also have one department called as Value Added Services. And under my team also, we have also, I just established a new product team. Meaning to say, VAS, Value Added Service, is for us to look into the new services, a new content, that can be bundled or that can be offered together with our lines or our telecommunication infrastructure. For example, when we offer internet services to the business user or to the consumers, so we want to actually bundle, package that with new apps, new contents.
What is your evaluation of the development of the digital content industry in Vietnam so far?
The most recent one based on the Internet Day 2016 event, which is held on 31st December last week. It was reported there are about more than 4,000 enterprises, or 4,500 to be exact, which is involved in this IT, more to say like more into like digital content, and created like 70,000 jobs. So this was mentioned by the ministry rep last week. Looking at the numbers of these enterprises that involve into this digital content, so there's a very positive potential growth that gonna emerge in Vietnam market. And in terms of the revenue also, like they increase year to year tremendously. Talking about the revenue for more than 100 billion revenue of US dollars. So it's a lot of kind of potential revenue that can be looked at and also to contribute back to the Vietnam's economy.
Vietnam's digital content industry expanded rapidly in recent years. The industry's total revenue surged from $480 million in 2008 to $1.4 billion in 2014, with an average growth rate of 20% annually. To better tap the potential of this industry, Vietnam needs to develop internet infrastructure, mobile technologies, and human resources. Recently, the Ministry of Information and Communications has allowed local mobile operators to provide 4G services. This is regarded as a good opportunity for IT firms to develop digital products for consumers.
Cứ 1 tỷ đô xuất khẩu dệt may thì Việt Nam chỉ được khoảng 5 đến 10% thôi. Thì trong 1 tỷ đô xuất khẩu của nội dung số ấy, thì mình có thể được đến khoảng 60 đến 7%. Đấy. Tức là với khoảng đơn vị nếu mà thu được 10 đến 20 tỷ đô ấy, thì quy mô của ngành này có lẽ là cái thực tế và lợi ích mà Việt Nam thu được ấy, nó sẽ cao hơn cả ngành dầu hỏa lẫn ngành xuất khẩu dệt may. Có lẽ là chỉ kém một ngành du lịch thôi.
In Vietnam, the local authorities maintain strict control over domestic digital content products, including scripts and pictures. Meanwhile, foreign companies can easily provide digital content products in Vietnam on the internet without being subject to stern censorship. The Vietnamese authorities are struggling to manage digital content products in the country. Meanwhile, it's necessary for Vietnam to have a safe, favorable, and equal legal framework for local and foreign companies.
Cái việc quản lý là việc cần thiết và chắc chắn rằng là cần thiết phải có giải pháp khả thi và phù hợp để chúng ta có thể quản lý được cả doanh nghiệp trong nước cũng như là doanh nghiệp nước ngoài. Và cái quản lý trong nước trong nước ngoài thì nó sẽ tạo ra một cái môi trường bình đẳng để cho doanh nghiệp trong nước cũng như doanh nghiệp nước ngoài đều phải có nghĩa vụ như nhau và cũng đều được hỗ trợ như nhau và được bảo vệ như nhau theo cái quy định pháp luật.
So Azhar, what do you think of the opportunities for digital content companies in Vietnam?
The advantage of Vietnam, what I can see is Vietnam have a population of more than 90 million people, 92 million people. And this population is very big. If I would say, if you compare to the world, I think Vietnam, 92 million, it can be like top 20 or top 10 of the countries that having that great population. And looking at the internet population I presented during the event, Internet Day event, during my study and analysis, currently, the latest data as of July 2016, the number of internet penetration in Vietnam is about 52%, meaning to say there are about 45 million Vietnam people already have access to the internet. Mostly is through their mobile devices. They do a mobile internet, and also from the PCs user, the desktop, all that. So when you look into it, as a digital content players, you look at the number of penetration, and this number like keep growing year to year. And when there are more access to the users, to the people of Vietnam, so there's gonna be a lot of opportunity for also the digital content players to grow the contents, so that the people of Vietnam can have access to it. There was in the Internet Day, there was my first encounter listen to the ministry rep talking about digital content development, then I can see the government itself, Vietnam government, is really like pushing this to materialize. So I positively think the government will support all this. In terms of the legality, the matters, all that, I think that one will be taken care of, because the main intention is actually to develop digital content to support the Vietnam's economy in the future.
On the other hand, digital content companies also face a number of challenges in Vietnam, particularly local firms. What do you think of the challenges?
One thing in terms of the local players, it could be a challenge. It could be the capital for them to invest into. If they say you were to compare to the big players, the OTTs, the content developer from the foreign countries, which is already in Vietnam, you can see like Grab, Uber, Zalora, Lazada already like coming over on board. So these are the big players. So they already come into Vietnam. I think for the local developer, yes, there'll be challenges if you want to fight in terms of the capital investment.
So what are your recommendations for Vietnamese businesses and authorities to boost the development of the digital content industry in the country?
During my stay in Vietnam, I've already been to Da Nang. In fact, last weekend, I spent my Christmas in Da Nang. I went to Ho Chi Minh also for a few meetings. Majority of Vietnamese, they really speak local language, Vietnamese. I would say 90%. And they are English or the other language become second or third and so forth. So for the local content, they have the advantage because of the language. So Vietnam people, they need more local content because those are actually English-based kind of content. So they have advantage in terms of languages. I just want to refer back to giving an example of South Korea. When they started in 95, they started, the government come out with the Korean telecommunication infrastructure to push. Number one is to boost the internet penetration in South Korea itself. And then they start to giving grants. By year 1998, they have more than 1,000 content developers. They develop local content in Korean languages. During that era, because of that, then a lot of more people start accessing Korea. And they have more interest to do all their things over the internet. And now South Korea having the most number internet population penetration, there are about 92% as the latest stat that I read. And when this happened, you look at the Korea, there's a lot of local content providers that are really successful. And people, last time I think in the late 90s and the early 2000s, there was a game online called Lineage Nexus, which is a Korean-owned product, started in Korean language, but now already like last time was introduced into a global market. People started paying. So this is an example like looking at Korea, meaning to say as Vietnam is like very similar. The language is also all about Vietnamese language, 90% speak local language. So they can have similar kind of success as South Korea.
Once again, thank you very much for joining us today and sharing some very interesting information.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Well, that's all for our Sharing Vietnam today. Hopefully, the Vietnamese authorities and businesses will achieve further successes in tapping the potential of the digital content industry here in Vietnam. Thank you so much for watching and see you again next time.